Hey, what's up, guys? New patch has been released. What was that? What was that? I don't know. I don't want to know. First, let's start with the announcement. Sammerrz, the announcement from the last video, is running a custom account icon contest. So basically, you make an account icon for HoN, which is like 128 by 128, can be in PNG format for transparency, and you post in the thread. And if he likes it and takes it as his icon, he will pay you with gold coins. So I thought I'd make an icon, so I made that icon. I think it's a really good icon. I could see how he would really like it. It's a really good icon, I think. That would be really great if you took it. So, yeah, that's one announcement. The other announcement is that one of my ideas has been implemented. My idea, like, it was perfectly to the letter implemented. Like, there was the change to HoN's blade. Its mana cost has been reduced from 75 to 50, but my idea was to reduce it to 35. And do we see HoN's blade used now? Do we? Oh wait, we don't, because it still sucks, kinda. So maybe it will be reduced further to 35, and then I'll be like, oh, that was my idea, that was my idea. But this idea is totally mine, so I'm kind of gonna jump ahead here to the items and say that the Thunderclaw and Charged Hammer are now charge based. So instead of having a 20% chance on attack, you now have a 100% chance to proc lightning when it has 0 charges on it. Like, for example, right now it has 0 charges on it. You attack, it procs the lightning, and it starts going through the charges. So 4, 3, 2, 1. Interestingly enough, it has this timer, which is 5 seconds, and every time it reaches 0, it reduces the number of charges by 1. So basically, if you're not attacking for a while, then your next attack will be like a guaranteed proc. So that's definitely above, because on average you will be proccing it more than once every 5 attacks. So this is not only a buff in terms of how often you proc it, but also makes it a really reliable item. And why does this make such a weird sound? Okay, I hope that fixed it. I hope. And this Warlock is gonna die if I don't move him, so there we go. I'll use that Warlock for later. So, Thunderclaw underwent the same changes. Whoops, that was close. God damn, that is pretty far away. So yeah, Charged Hammer now charge based, or yes, pretty much charge based. My idea. I posted it in April in 2012. My suggestion made it into tier 1, then it was archived, then it somehow made back into suggestion from the archives. So I don't know, it just went the full cycle, so that's kind of cool. I'm expecting my reward in the forums, and if I don't get it, oh, it's too shady stuff as to my ideas being stolen and no credit is given. Are you kidding? Well, it's still kind of good that I got my idea implemented anyway. So I'll mention this change later. First, let's talk about hero changes. So we have a change to Cthulhu. His first skill now costs 10 mana less. It's not 125 but 115. By the way, did I tell you I fixed my webcam? It now has like much more FPS, and before it was laggy and someone is writing me. But let's move on to the Cthulhu change. So 10 mana less, which basically means you can trample more often. So this big of a change for the hero? Well, kind of. If you think about it, now you can trample twice on level 1 with the mana you have without any items. So usually on a Cthulhu you go for Runes of Blight, which have been renamed, and a hatchet and a stout shield. So you didn't really get any mana items like minor totems. You could, I guess, but usually people didn't. So this means now, no matter what, you can trample twice. And also if you go for like a jungling strategy or something, you need 10 less mana to trample, which is pretty good. So it's not just on level 1, it's like on all levels. So just basically his Q costs 10 less mana. So above Cthulhu, did he need it? Yeah, Cthulhu is kind of like this tanky hero, but he's closer to the tank than anything. As in, he takes a lot of damage, but he doesn't really deal much damage. So hopefully this will make him more fun to play, because it's kind of boring just being this meat shield that doesn't deal damage. Not that Cthulhu was one, I think Cthulhu was pretty strong. So, second change we have to Rhapsody, and I'll make these creeps attack each other for a while. So her second skill has been buffed because everyone realized, oh, wait a second, guys, I think Rhapsody is bad, and everyone's like, yeah, she's not as good as other heroes, kind of. So I thought she's okay, but she was kind of underpowered. So basically, she's now more of a pushing hero. Her second skill before did 100% healing and damage to creep, but it was nerfed to only do half and 100% to heroes, so kind of a nerf. Now the nerf has been partially reverted. It now deals 75 and healed 75% damage to creeps. So basically, the second skill was less effective on creeps, only did half of the effect. And now it does 75%, which is a bonus, so it will heal more to the creeps and will deal more damage to the creeps. I'm pretty sure that wouldn't have killed the creep with the previous one. So next we have a change to Plague Rider, his ultimate. It's kind of a consistency change. So before his ultimate, if you look at the mana cost, right now it costs 200, 350, 500. Before it was 200, 325, and then 500. So basically it was like 200 plus 125, and then plus 175, just kind of weird. So now it's 100, 200 plus 150 plus 150. So just like kind of a consistent change. This isn't really a buff or anything. So just consistent changes. And last we have changes to Voodoo Jester, which are kind of interesting. His starting intelligence has been increased by 2, so now he deals more damage, has more mana to spam. So yeah, basically Voodoo Jester became stronger, but man, this hero is so freaking annoying to play against with his acid cocktails. For some example, they just always bounce on me. I don't know what it is with them. So the change was made to the acid cocktail skill as well. It now deals damage to not just creeps, but player-controlled units. So, for example, if I summon 2 wolves and place a Word of Revelation because they're invisible, and I use my Acid Cocktail on the War Beast, it will jump to the wolves, and as you can see, it doesn't deal damage to heroes still, only stuns, but it does deal damage to summoned units now. So that's definitely a buff against pushing strategies, pretty much. So now if you have like a Keeper or something that summons a ton of creeps, or like War Beast trying to push, Voodoo Jester is now a legitimate way to stop pushing strategies. Same kind of goes with Rhapsody. I suppose it's also kind of better for pushing, but not really, because it's only like a change for player control units for Voodoo Jester. So, and last change was to his Cursed Ground, and now costs less mana on lower levels. Before it was 120 always, now it's 90, 100, 110, 120. So, same on level 4, lower level 1. This skill was really weak on lower levels, so it kind of did nothing, really. So, before level 3, there was really no point in using this skill. It was just kind of a waste of mana. The damage, you're probably better off just attack, but I don't know, it's an okay skill, I guess, on early levels, but this definitely helps the skill. I always go for a QE build, and I even have a preference for maxing E first, because it's so good. So I suppose that improves that build, and is just in general a buff to Voodoo Jester. A pretty good one. Intelligence, better against pushes, and his third skill costs less mana. So just a bunch of cool stuff for Voodoo Jester, really. So yeah, I think it's okay. I'm fine with it. So let's move on to the next change, and that is we're moving on to items. Yeah, I think only the items are left. So a few changes. Runes of Blight have been removed to Blightstones, so I guess it's not a bit easier to say. Hey dude, I need to buy some stones. Oh yeah dude, let's get stoned. Or I don't know. Yeah, totally dude, let's get stoned, and then you buy Blightstones or something. I don't know. Oh yeah, I love that effect. So one change was to the Nullfire Blade. It now works in illusions. So illusions will also kind of steal mana, or I guess burn mana, but only 33%. So this 33% shows up a lot with illusions. So they only have a third of the effect, but it's pretty good. Especially a good change for Sandwraith. So it's kind of a buff to Sandwraith. Nullfire was really good on him, now it's even better. But basically, to demonstrate my point, you can see it like steals 12 mana per hit. If you look at the Nullfire Blade, it should steal 36, so a third, 33% basically. So yeah, an interesting change. A buff to Nullfire Blade, because it's a really interesting item, especially the Purge, which can dispel a lot of stuff. So hopefully we'll see more of this item, especially on illusions based heroes, especially on heroes that like going for Geometer's Bane, because now you can pick up a Nullfire Blade. So that's pretty interesting. And last change, of course, was to Thunderclaw and Charged Hammer. So Thunderclaw just became charge based. By the way, is the buff charge based or not? Yes, the charge is also buff based, so it's exactly like my suggestion, which I posted in the video that is still on my channel page on the right. If you check out like my ideas for HoN, that suggestion is still there from back then. So even the charges on yourself or whoever you use it on are also charge based. Awesome! This item is so freaking awesome. I'm gonna talk about this for a bit. I'm sorry, forgive me, but this change is so freaking good. Exactly like I suggested. Exactly. Even the charge on yourself thing. This is my idea. Like, I not only suggested and stuff, but even when I got into super beta, I was like, hey devs. They were like, what? This suggestion, you see it right here? They're like, yeah. I'm like, implement it. They're like, no comment. I'm like, what are you doing? Implement it now. And yeah, it's really nice to finally have it see the light of day. I won't let anyone steal this suggestion. It's mine. It's mine. Charge based, 5 charges, proc and attack. I explained the reasons why, and even when you use it on yourself, also the same effect. So there we go. Yes, my idea implemented to HoN. One thing I wanted to note about the charge hammer. Oh yeah, the charge hammer also now has 6 more damage. So before it was plus 24 damage and plus 70 attack speed. I'm talking about this item. So it saved the damage from the thunderclap. It was still 24, but now it's 30. So basically 6 more damage makes charge hammer a bit better. And of course, it's reliable. You have no idea. You have no idea how big of a change this is. So the problem with charged hammer was, first of all, its unreliability. So it's not reliable at all. I guess I should put up one finger. Not reliable at all. So that was a huge problem, especially when farming or pushing. You just didn't know when it worked. And another really big problem with this unreliability was when you're trying to last hit, you don't know if it will proc, and you kind of expect it not to, and then it procs and just screws your last hit up. Because, like, let's say the creeps were attacking and you didn't account for it. So, but now that not only like that farming potential has been fixed, but the item is now super reliable, good magic damage. Why is the microphone making sounds or something? So now it's basically, if you divide it by 5, the Thunderclaw, which is the first version of it, is 150 damage divided by 5, 30 guaranteed damage, and it also bounces to 2 nearby enemies. So that's, with enough enemies nearby, potentially 90 damage on average bonus for a recipe of 800 gold. 800 gold. Okay, if you count the hammer as well with the recipe, this probably makes this item the most cost efficient damage item in the game. Not kidding you. Of course, things to note, this is magic damage and it is blocked by some stuff, so in some cases it's worse, in some cases it's better, for example against creeps or heroes that have a lot of normal armor but not a lot of magic armor. But it's damage nonetheless, and it's reliable, and it's static damage. So this item is now really good. Like, really good. That gives you a ton of damage, increases your farm potential so much, is incredibly reliable. Just there's no reason not to get it if you need damage, and it's like not an attack modifier or anything. You can get it on almost any hero. I'm gonna get this item so much now. I hate random in this game. You wanna know what's the worst item in the game? You think Staff of the Master? This? No, no, no. This is the worst item in the game. The worst designed item in the game. When you get stunned by this item on the first hit, you don't think, oh man, that was skill. You think, oh my god, that lucky piece of shit. And when it doesn't work for you, and like you attack 5 times and it doesn't proc once, you think, my god, freaking random item doesn't work. Just so annoying. Worst item in the game, by design. And of course the effect associated with this item, it stops you from playing a stun. It just makes it impossible for you to do anything. So basically, just one of the most annoying items. And finally they're removing a random from this item. This item is going to be really good now, especially with the buffs. It's going to be huge. I'm going to get it so often now. I'm being serious right here. This is gonna be one of my favorite items now, especially since it's my suggestion as well. But yeah, so this item, really good, really reliable, really good damage, very cost efficient, probably could be the most cost efficient item in the game. Take note that though that it's magic damage. So that's kind of it for this video. Yeah, my webcam fixed, Sammerrz contest. Oh yeah, the Dota 2 beta keys. You'll be surprised, but after I said that anyone can just contact me on Steam, and to contact me you can find the link to my Steam group on my channel page on the right, and you can request me as a friend and I will invite you to my Steam group. But I won't accept you as a friend because there's a limit, again, with these limits, but okay, whatever, screw them. And after that, you just request a chat with me and you just ask SomaZ, can I get a Dota beta key? Today, I wanted to give a Dota beta key to one guy, but there was some problem, so I'll give him one later. But, the main point, I now have more Dota 2 beta keys than I had when I made the announcement and started giving them away. I think Steam realized that I'm giving away beta keys, and it was like, okay, let's send this guy some more. And then I got some beta keys from people, and basically I have more keys than I started with. So if you really want to play Dota 2, which I don't like it because it's not very fluid or polished. Maybe it's going to be better after it's out of beta, but if you really want a Dota 2 beta key, just ask. I'll give you one. I honestly don't care. Honestly don't care. This is the game for me. So hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. That was a weird face.